He made history the moment he stepped on the court. Coming from a country with billions of people, he carried the hopes of millions. But after all the hype, he suddenly disappeared. No headlines, no highlights, just silence. So, what really happened? The full story is more surprising than you think. Imagine growing up in a village with no basketball court, no cable TV, and no clue what the NBA even is. Now imagine going from that to shaking hands with Mark Cuban on draft night. Sounds like a movie, right? But for Satnam Singh, it was real life. And what followed was both incredible and brutal. Satnam wasn't just tall, he was massive, over 6 feet tall by the time he was 9. Born in a dusty little village in Punjab with barely 800 people, his size made him stand out from day one. But standing out doesn't mean much when you're surrounded by wheat fields instead of hardwood courts. His dad, a farmer who was also freakishly tall, saw what could have been his own path in his son. And this time, he refused to let that opportunity pass. His father literally bolted a basketball hoop to a wall outside their house. That's where it all started. Satnam learning to dribble, brick by brick, in front of confused villagers who had never even heard of the sport. But it wasn't just a hobby, it became his purpose. Soon he was training every day, and by the time he was 13, he was a walking giant. 6'11", over 230 pounds, and already dominating local leagues. Now here's where things really take off. In 2010, the NBA decided to start looking at India, not just as a fan market, but as a talent pool. That's when Satnam got invited to the Basketball Without Borders camp, rubbing shoulders with real NBA coaches and scouts. He was raw, yes, but he had something. And when he got offered a full scholarship to train at the IMG Academy in Florida, America's elite sports factory, he didn't even speak English. But he said yes anyway. That one decision changed everything. But going from a Punjabi farm to one of the world's toughest sports academies, that wasn't just hard, it was brutal. He was surrounded by kids who had been training since they could walk. Satnam, on the other hand, was learning how to shoot and run drills while also trying to understand what his coach was yelling at him in a language he barely knew. Still, he kept grinding. And by his 5th year at IMG, he had turned into a legit player. Solid numbers, serious potential. Scouts started paying attention. Colleges like Purdue and USC wanted him, but he couldn't play in the NCAA because of visa issues. That slammed the door shut. But instead of giving up, he walked into a bigger room, the NBA draft. Now get ready, because what happened next shocked the world. Satnam Singh entered the 2015 NBA draft with no college experience, no pro league stats, and barely any exposure compared to American prospects. But none of that mattered. On draft night, with the 52nd overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks made a stunning move. They selected Satnam Singh. Just like that, he became the first Indian-born player ever drafted into the NBA.
52nd pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Satnam Singh.
It was a massive moment. News outlets across India exploded. Bollywood stars tweeted. Headlines screamed about the Indian giant going to the NBA. And for a country that had never had a single player in the league, this was history. But after the cameras turned off and the lights faded, reality hit hard. Satnam didn't make the main roster, not even for a minute. He was sent straight to the G League, the NBA's development league, where players fight tooth and nail just to get noticed. And in that brutal environment, Satnam struggled. In 2 seasons with the Texas Legends, he averaged under 2 points and barely got 8 minutes a game. For someone drafted with so much hope, these numbers were crushing. People expected him to dominate because of his size, but the truth was he just wasn't ready. His footwork was slow, his reactions were delayed. The years he missed playing against real competition in India left a huge gap in his development. While others his age had been coached by NBA-level trainers for years, Satnam had learned basketball in dirt fields and broken gyms. Still, he tried. He stayed in the G League, he joined the NBA Summer League, but each season his minutes got fewer and the chances smaller. By 2017, the Mavericks let him go. No other NBA team called. Just like that, the dream was slipping away. Fast. With the NBA window closing, Satnam looked elsewhere. He played briefly in Canada, hoping to build momentum. He rejoined the Indian national team, trying to make noise in Asia. and for a while, it looked like he might turn things around. In one international game, he dropped 20 points and 10 rebounds. It was the old Satnam again. But that comeback didn't last long. In 2019, while preparing for the South Asian Games, Satnam got hit with a devastating blow, a failed drug test. He tested positive for a banned substance, and just like that, he was suspended for 2 full years from international competition. Whether it was intentional or just a mistake with supplements, it didn't matter. His basketball career was now on life support. 2 years out of the game, no NBA, no contracts, no momentum. At 24 years old, Satnam wasn't just falling behind, he was disappearing. But he wasn't done yet. Because just when it looked like it was over, Satnam found a brand new arena to step into, one that had nothing to do with basketball. When basketball shut its doors, Satnam didn't sit still. In 2021, he made a shocking move. He signed with All Elite Wrestling, AEW, one of the biggest pro wrestling companies in the world. That's right. The man once drafted into the NBA was now stepping into the ring. At first, people were confused. Why wrestling? Why now? But the truth is, it wasn't a random decision. Back in 2017, when Satnam was still chasing the NBA, WWE had already invited him for a tryout. He didn't go all in back then, but the interest was always there. And now, with basketball behind him, it was time for a second act, and wrestling fit him better than most expected. His size made him a natural giant in the ring. AEW paired him up with veteran stars like The Big Show, who helped guide him through the ropes, literally. Satnam had the strength, the presence, and the footwork built from years on the basketball court. But even in wrestling, things weren't perfect. Fans were split. Some thought he was being wasted, used more like a comic side character than a real threat. Others pointed out the same problem he had in basketball. He was slow. That same stiffness that made the NBA tough for him was now an issue in the ring. And while you don't need to be lightning quick in wrestling, the audience still expects performance. Even so, Satnam wasn't backing down. He stuck with it, kept training, kept showing up. In 2023, he got a big win. He won a tag team championship in Mexico's AAA promotion alongside Raj Desi, better known as Jinder Mahal. It wasn't the NBA, but it was still a title, a real accomplishment. And once again, Satnam was doing something no other Indian-born athlete had ever done. Let's be real. Satnam Singh never became an NBA star. He didn't play a single official game in the league. But does that mean he failed? Not even close. He broke a door that had been locked for decades. He showed an entire nation that it was possible. Before him, no kid from a small Indian village could seriously dream of playing in the NBA. After him, that dream got louder. His story is messy, full of ups, downs, and sudden turns. But it's real. And in a country where basketball barely existed, Satnam made people care. He made them believe. And now, even though he's no longer on the court, he's still in the ring, still representing, still proving that someone from nowhere can go everywhere. Because Satnam Singh didn't just try to play basketball, he tried to change the game for 1 billion people. And whether you watched him for 8 minutes in the G League or 8 seconds in the wrestling ring, one thing's clear. He's still fighting.